What's up? And no, this is not a style vlog. We're actually talking about climate change. We are fashionistas, but also eco-friendly fashionistas.
Period.
So follow us as we go on this journey to understand how we can be conscious consumers and integrate eco-friendly practices into our everyday lives.
Woo. Like and subscribe at the bottom. Hey, and welcome to Conscious Consumers.
So this is our first episode, and I am Leimert Park, a supply chain expert and Los Angeles fashion tastemaker.
My name is Madeline Jones. I'm an artist, actress, producer, model, and all different types of things.
So we created Conscious Consumer because we really want to take this journey towards really understanding and dissecting the effects of global warming, things that we can do as a community to change the trajectory of global warming, and then also just save our legacy.
Exactly, because climate change is inevitable. I mean, you think about the city of Atlantis, and you think about the dinosaurs and the ice age, and this was all a transition of just life, and of course that happened like millions of years ago.
Right, but it's also in our backyard. This is something that we're experiencing right now. The global temperature has increased by 1.1 degrees Celsius since 1980, which is not that long ago, and we're on a trajectory for the global temperature to increase to 2 degrees Celsius by 2030.
So why do you think that the temperature has increased so much, let's say in the past century?
The Industrial Revolution,
of course.
Man-made things, the things that make our lives so much easier today have contributed to it. And that's why we're conscious consumers, because we realize the power in the dollar. Every dollar we spend as consumers is a vote for that specific product or that specific company. So it's important to understand what are those products and what are those things that are contributing to the changing weather patterns, and that's what's called greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases are gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, fluorinated gases that get trapped in the ozone layer. When it's trapped in the ozone layer, it increases the temperature of not only the weather but also the ocean, which is melting the ice caps in the Antarctic. So once the ice caps melt in the Antarctic, there's an increase in precipitation, which is snow, rain, sleet, and also an increase in the sea level.
So you think about this, and of course, I guess this would cause settlers to want to move. I know you think about all about the traveling around the world and just the huge migration. Now, all this has really kind of happened because of climate change. And it's kind of forcing new people to move around and to eventually go to new environments and communities.
Yes, according to the National Oceanic Aquatic Association, the sea level is projected to rise by 2.5 meters by 2100, which is 8 feet. So if you can imagine that, I mean, that's taller than me, taller than you. So really we think about cities all over the world on every single continent are going to be affected. And by 2050, 150 million people are going to have to migrate to more livable conditions. So Mother Nature, she is not playing.
She's coming out here, okay?
She's coming out.
So what do you think we could do as people of color to actually push more people to actually care more about the environment, or let's say, climate change?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's 3 major reasons why I think people aren't maybe as aware, and one is just the lack of knowledge. So not really understanding what it means. A lot of times we see politics and science mixed, and it shouldn't be. Also just dealing with other disparities associated with oppression because they're people of color. And then third is not knowing what to do to change. So I think if it's really a trifecta of a couple things that need to be addressed.
Well, girl, I think that we should go out in the community and maybe talk to some people and see, what their problem is or what they think that we should do better for climate change. How do you get involved?
I love that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Girl, let's go.
Okay.
Do you know what climate change is?
From what I'm assuming, it's about melting of the polar ice caps.
Care about the effects of climate change? or is it like, not really on your mind as you would think about it? And it's totally cool to be honest, because a lot of people have been going all over the place.
No, well, care is a nuanced question.
Yeah.
I care, but I don't have the power to do anything on a large scale. So as much as I do care, it's one of those things where it's like, there's a lot of people, that's a problem that's above my pay grade.
Okay, I totally feel it. Do you, what do you think that would be like a good way to get more people of color to worry about it or think about climate change?
I mean, we could literally start in our own communities by just cleaning up our communities, because like that, taking care of the environment is a part of climate. So it's like the earth responds to, the beings on it. So it's like, you got to take care of the earth. Okay,
well, cool. Thank you so much for everything. Yes. And have a really great day.
Absolutely.
Fossil fuels are killing us. I'm trying to go all electric myself. Or at least, wind power, or solar power or something. There's a lot of black folks, African Americans know for a long time that the earth has been heating up, and they have addressed it through, a lot of them have addressed it through diet, through the food that they eat, local farms. I recycle all my plastic, in cans, on a weekly basis. Try use very little plastic. Plastic is really killing us.
Oh yeah.
There's a part of the Pacific Northwest Ocean that plastic bottles are the size of Texas. So that's sick. That's absolutely sick.
Yeah.
And those bottles shouldn't even be there. So there's a lot to be done, and I hope y'all get a lot more people to talk about it.
What y'all know about climate change?
Yeah, so we've seen that it's gotten hotter, as we all know. The weather's changing, and it definitely affects people out here, especially if you have like a huge difference when it's cold and then when it's hot. Especially people out here experiencing homelessness. It's devastating to them because they're out here, they don't have shelter, and it's definitely a big hit for them. Yeah, there's actually, I wanted to mention, there's the LA winter shelters are like pop-ups that are happening around the city, and they're specifically to house or shelter people experiencing homelessness, and just in the winter, and then they dismantle, and then where does that leave everybody at the end, right?
I think giving more information, like I noticed like a lot of like older like age people, they don't believe in it. They're like, oh, well, I used to go out and baby oil and all this kind of stuff in the sun. So I just think providing more in maybe resources like that they could check, and then just so they could see that it's a real thing.
Yeah, I think like so many people focus on social media, like they go on that and they believe it like it's God speaking to them. So I feel like especially putting all that information onto social media, because like for me, I watch things like documentaries. That's where I've learned a lot about like the changes in the environment. Not just like, wow, there's like so many little things that that seem little, but then they actually have big impacts. So I was like, if you kind of translate that and put it there, and you put it, I don't know, in some sort of fancy way that catches people's attention, like I think they'll probably finally start to believe that thing.
Most people aren't even looking up. They're just going about their routine, their conditions, and people don't like change. So I think it takes us, a village, people who are like-minded and who have commonality of, different things. We can kind of bring that recognition to the community.
Hey y'all, we're back. Oh, we had such a great conversation. We went out to Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, and had some great conversations with tons of people. We met with music artists, healthcare professionals, educators, financial advisors, tons of people. And it was just really great. Just to have that conversation.
Some of the things that we had talked about before were actually things that are on people's mind, which is a confirmation that we're actually on the right page.
Which is good.
So for one, powerlessness. Like these people felt powerlessness because of the lack of education and the lack of knowledge within that realm. Also community resources. There are not a whole lot of community resources in terms of like actual things that people can do every single day to reduce their greenhouse gas emission, or even the emission that's coming from their communities or even surrounding cities. And third, we also got feedback about, you know, really like having a robust recycling program.
Yeah.
Having real financial incentives for the people who take the time to separate the plastics and the aluminums and the electronics and the more perishable things. There needs to be a more robust program around how people can actually get incentivized for taking the time to actually recycle. We think recycling is such a small thing.
It's so important.
It's so important. And so that's something that I am taking a pledge to do better at, is to just be better recyclers. And I think that's somewhere where we can all start. It's just taking the plastic and putting it into a separate bag and a separate container. And so I think that the artist community is really going to be the ones that will create those innovative solutions to reduce our carbon emission. And the ones who are passionate about environmental justice, and those who actually want to see change and understand that science and politics do not need to mesh. You know, all of us together, we can take this journey together to share resources and to make small changes in our life. And so we're just excited to start this journey, and this is the first of many where we're going to continue to interview great people around this country and ask them, like, what do you think are some small changes that we can make, and really take that information and turn into something that's real tangible. So like and subscribe, continue to check in with us. We'll check in with you. Leave a comment if there are some great ways and great solutions to reduce your greenhouse gas emission even within your community, and we can just tap in. All right, see ya.